Oh, it's spitting at me. This wine is 10 years old and costs nearly £1,000. Why on earth would I whack it in a food blender? Red wine loves a bit of oxygen. We're gonna do a little experiment. We're gonna do old school, leaving a wine to breathe for 2 hours. Then new school, which is get it down your Gregory, very bloody sharpish. So let's start old school with a Coravin. This bit of kit is exactly the same way as emulating a decanted bottle of wine. So, but in goes our wine into here, and I'm gonna give that 2 hours of oxygen. Actually, wait there. This wine needs a jacket. Fred, I need your jacket. This is Château Mouton Big Bollocks Rothschild. We are north of Bordeaux in this area called the Médoc, and at nearly the top, we've got this area called Pauillac. This has the densest population of glitzy French chateau in the world. The grape variety they use is Cabernet Sauvignon, which has broad shoulders, a lot of muscle, and a lot of grunt. It brings with it a lot of colour, so they're deep red, a lot of tannin, so they feel in the mouth really quite big and chewy, and a lot of beautiful fruit. And the fruit you get from it is blackcurrant. What we've got here is 10 years old. It is a baby. This wine, knocking on the door of £1,000 a bottle, people will be going nuts that I'm about to open it at just 10 years old, and even more nuts that I'm going to chuck it through a food blender. And the reason I do that, everyone else has chucked £7.99 Audi rat's piss in the food blender and says it makes red wine great.
What's in the smoothie?
Burgundy. I hyper decant. You don't hyper decant?
Now, for a wine to last long, it needs fruit, it needs tannin, and it needs acidity. And you need those three things in balance. So if you've got a £7.99 Audi, it might have loads of fruit, but it won't have much tannin, and it might have a bit of acidity. But you've got three pillars here that basically soften with age. And the acidity mellows a bit, the fruit fades, and instead come these amazing smells of, like, when you're in Bordeaux, cigar box, or wet leaves. And the tannin molecules club together and they form a sediment, what we call dissipated, down into the bottom of the glass, which basically means if you've got a very old bottle of Bordeaux, you're going to drink most of it and eat the bottom of it. Now, when you've got those three things in balance, and plenty of them, that means you've got a wine that can last for a long time. So that wine is a banger, but we're going to see how much it bangs straight out of the bottle in a food blender and two other things. I'll see you in 2 hours. Have a little zizz. Here we go, 2 hours later. I am actually pissing my pants about this. This is jackets off time. Now, we're gonna get the Coravin out. So this bottle has not seen any oxygen at all. This glass here has seen 2 hours of oxygen. We're now gonna take the blister off, rip the cork out of this, and we're gonna taste the wine without any oxygen at all. Here we go. So you always get a wine of this kind of quality will always be sealed with a cork, because despite all these magic inventions, the cork is the only thing that closes a bottle of wine and allows a little tiny bit of oxygen to perforate into the wine over the years that you age it. It's absolutely nuts. So it's still the best way of sealing a bottle of wine. What better thing to be doing on, where are we? Wednesday, something like that, on a Wednesday afternoon. Right, make sure the glass is clean, in she goes. Come and have a look at this. It's sort of just going a little bit tawny around the edge. Around the sides of the glass, we've got big tears or globules. That means the wine it's got high extract, so it's quite a wad of alcohol, but not too much, 13.5, but loads of juiciness to it. So I'm gonna have a little smell. Shit the bed. That has got black cherry, black currant, cedarwood, a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of burnt rubber. And I'm not imagining these things, they are here. This is a very complex, magical red wine. Holy shit. Right, in she goes. That sucks the inside of my cheeks right in and has a little ding dong on my tongue. It gives it a bit of a yank. That needs a bit of air. It needs oxygen in there to just open that baby up and give it more of everything. Soften it, make it juicy, make it ready to play. So that's how it tastes fresh out of the bottle. Normal people, you're not watching one of them, would prepare it beautifully, 2 hours in a decanter, have everything all lined up. I've only got 2 bottles of these. I've got 2 bottles and I'm shoving one through a blender. Whose idea was that? Yours. Okay, so, well, one for the blender and one for me. Anyway, right, that's the one fresh out of the bottle. Very beautiful, but a little bit tight. But I want to check how it should be if you're a normal person, which I'm not, and you've treated this with some reverence and given it 2 hours in a decanter. So have a little swirl. And it smells a little bit similar to that. I can't, it's not too different. But it's absolutely beautiful. It's getting bits of my mouth that wine didn't. It's got underneath my bottom gums, it's around my top gums, it's filling my whole mouth with juiciness and deliciousness. It is definitely a softer, more approachable, even more delicious version of that. How quickly can you get that to turn into that if you're a very abnormal person and you've decided to open a bottle of Mouton Rothschild for someone who's just come round for a cup of tea? Okay, here comes the silly stuff. We have 3 gadgets. So we've got an aerator, which we can all buy for about like 10 quid from Amazon. What's this, Fred? Oh dear. Milk frother. We're gonna whack a milk frother in and see if that gets the right amount of oxygen. And then of course, we've got our NutriBullet. What a frighteningly silly thing to do. Right, here's our aerator. So it's got a little filter on the bottom of that to catch the sediment, which is the tannin bits. Hold that over the glass. In goes this little chap here. Ooh, makes a great sound.
Is it called sediment?
A little bit. It's called a little bit of sediment. That tastes lush. That tastes creamy, velvety, silky. That tastes better than the freshly opened bottle. How the fuck does that work? Now, not quite as good as the 2 hour. Right, now we go with the milk frother. What a very good idea this is. So in she goes here and we give it a little bit of oxygen. Are we ready? Château Mouton Rothschild 2016 with a head on it. Okay, well that looks exactly how Château Mouton Rothschild 2016 should look.
A smoothie.
A blackcurrant smoothie. Right, so we'll just let that settle down and then we'll have a little go on it. We're gonna just swirl it. The reason I do that is to push the wine to the top of the glass and it begins to release its delicious little smells from the old hooter. And it smells really, really delicious. It's jumping out the wine glass. It feels open, ready to play. Now that is very interesting because it tastes like that wine has just arrived at the It's an absolute mess. When you get a really good bottle of red wine, it's quite a fragile thing. So you've got to give it a little bit of oxygen and then it will just take that little bit of oxygen and begin to behave fantastically. But this is like a little kid. If you give it too many sweeties, it will start behaving really, really badly. It's out of balance. It's hitting little bits of my gob that I don't really want it to hit. It's not like a smooth, juicy mouthful that most definitely was. Fred, you can keep your milk frother. That is not my bag. So here we go into the blender. Now, smells slightly of asparagus, but I think it's going to be fine. So in she goes. What we're trying to do here is get a good amount of oxygen into this very expensive Bordeaux wine to open the flavors up and make it rich and juicy. Oh, dearie me, in we go. Château Mouton Rothschild. Let's give it a whiz. Oh fuck, it's spitting at me. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm really sorry. I'm just really sorry to do that to Château Mouton Rothschild, but let's see what it does. So here's my food blender red. In she goes to my beautiful wine glass there. Château Food Blender Rothschild. Round she goes. It smells quite juicy. It smells very juicy. Well, absolutely bugger me. That makes Mouton Rothschild taste really very good very quickly. That is an absolutely ridiculous experiment. Mate, I'm going to compare it to the milk frother. Blender, better than milk frother because it's smoother. This is still tasting angular. I don't know why, but it is tasting angular. This is creamy, it's smooth, it's blackcurrant, it's a bit of vanilla, it's a little bit of cedar. That is literally the bollocks. Now, what about this, which remember, was this chap. 10 quid from Amazon. That smells really, really amazing. It's got a little bit more cedar wood than these two, so it's a little bit more expressive on the nose, so it's jumping out of the glass a bit more. That tastes even better. That is delicious. Now the one that we've just opened. That is much tighter than all of those three. That needs another hour or a zhizh through there, and I prefer it to the milk frother because the milk frother has done something very bad to that wine. I'm so sorry for whacking you on the head with a milk frother. What about the one where we did the proper reverence, 2 hours, just gently becoming acclimatized. Here it comes. Absolutely delicious wine. So what have we learned? What is the worst thing to do to a £1,000 10-year-old bottle of wine? Whack it on the head with a milk frother. That's just made it into a real big mess. So don't do that. If you like a bit of theatre, it's quite fun to whack it through a food blender, but it's not quite as good as if you've got one of these. So this is our 10 quid, is it 10 quid? 10 quid from Amazon, little aerator. Immediately, your wine would taste as delicious as if you gave it 2 hours in a decanter. That is the best thing to do. If you want your wine to be ready, don't shove a milk frother in it. I hated that blender much less than I expected. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to fuck up a bottle of Château Mouton Rothschild 2016 when you got no mates. Only, I've only fucked up half a bottle, which means I could still go and get some mates. So Fred, out the way, I'm gonna go and get some mates. Night night.